What up, Laker family? It's your boy DTLF back with a breaking news video. What's up, Kimmy Goat? Solo, good to see you guys, man. How y'all doing? Wow, I didn't think I'd be making this one today, but the gift that keeps on giving, the Lakers, man. Breaking news. The Lakers have removed, aka fired, Joey and Jesse Buss from their prospective front office positions in basketball operations, and they're going to reorganize this. Okay, so the Buss brothers, were a part of the franchise for the last 20 years, and I have multiple thoughts on this, guys. Multiple thoughts, both good and bad. Let's start with the good. The good news is Mark Walter is coming in like a tycoon, like a titan, man. He is coming in here, and he is really proving that he's a no-nonsense guy. And I'll tell you why. Joey and Jesse Buss weren't fired because they weren't good, man. They were amazing for years, but let's keep it honest. The last couple of years, guys, have been questionable. For example, taking Jalen Hood-Schifino at 17 over multiple talented pieces, including Jaime Jaquez, all right? So that's a missed opportunity right there, man. There's been a lot of critique around if these guys were really suited for the job for years. And you got to remember, Mark Walter's been with the Lakers in minority stake. He has been with the Lakers. Yo, what up, guys? Maurice, what's up, CJ? Both Joey and Jesse Buss have been fired. Now, it's bittersweet for me because they did a great job. They were with the organization for 20 years, but this is what happens when you sell the team. Somebody's going to come in here with a different vision, all right? And Mark Walter has a no-nonsense vision. Let's be honest, the last couple of years, again, have not been good. From drafting Jalen Hood-Schifino to recently Dalton Connect, when there was better talented pieces there. All right, they could have took Jaime Jaquez. I hate him. I don't like him, but they could have took Brandon Podds with the 19th pick instead of Jalen Hood-Schifino. All better players. Marcus Sasser was there, right? And then the last draft, they took Dalton Connect, the number 17, a quote-unquote sharpshooter, has been everything but, okay? Yves Missy was there at 21. Okay, AJ Mitchell, who's currently with the Thunder, playing some big minutes, shoot over 38%. Jalen Wells from the Memphis Grizzlies. So there has been some misses in the last couple of years, and I think this guy, guys, you got to be excited. I know some of you guys are upset because we're attached to the Buss family name, and Joey and Jesse had promise for sure. But did they ever truly live up to it? I'll leave that up to you guys. But here's the thing. The fact that this man is doing this while we're winning tells you that he isn't playing games. He has a broader, better vision for this team. And I hope it doesn't backfire because obviously, for me, these guys were pretty solid over the years. They've drafted plenty of good talent over the years. However, like I said, they've been slipping the last couple of years, guys. And this was a statement that Joey and Jesse put up. He said, "We are extremely honored to have been a part of this organization for the last 20 seasons. Thank you, Laker Nation, for embracing our family every step of the way. We wish things could be different with the way our time ended with the team. At times like this, we wish we could ask our dad what he would think about it all." Okay. Now, again, for those of you just tuning in, make sure to slap that like button, guys. You heard it here first. Joey and Jesse Buss, okay, have had key Laker scouting roles the last decade, all right, helping us find players such as Kyle Kuzma, Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance Jr., Max Christie, okay? Those are all been gems. Steals, so we're not going to take them for granted. Very grateful that we had them for sure. But like I said, the last couple of years haven't been good by these guys, and Mark Walter has taken notice, okay? Mark Walter is demanding excellence from the ground up, from the ground on up. And this is sending a big message that not even you, Rob Pelinka, are safe. So you better have a good trade deadline. You better not falter because the moment you slip, he's going to catch him. And Mark Walter's not playing. We've seen him do this with the Dodgers, man. And I'm even more shocked because he came in right away. The Lakers are currently a top 4 seed in the West at 11-4, and he still fired them. So that means, listen, guys, you're not going to hide behind the cloak of success. Yes, we have had success, but you guys have struggled in your department. Mind you, these guys have also made good picks in their careers. All right. So it's not all good. Obviously, whoever we hire next is really going to determine how excited we get. Because again, today is November 2025. These guys have been with the Lakers for 20 years. We're talking about Joey Buss, the vice president of research and development. So he's in charge of developing young players and doing research on their game. All right. And then you got Jesse Buss, the director of scouting and player personnel. This is the guy that really has been at the forefront of drafting certain players. And like I said, the last two drafts, with the exception of a Duthiero, because he looks like he's going to be a good one, right? And maybe that was a Rob Pelinka call. I don't know. But with the exception of him, the last two drafts before that were not good for us, okay? We could have had Jaime Jaquez. We could have had other pieces. We could have had other pieces, all right? So, again, they've been removed from their front office roles, and to me, this is a part of a broader reorganization of the team for basketball operations under the new controlling owner, Mark Walter, guys, all right? He acquired the majority stake, and people were telling me, no, it's not going to be major changes. He has a good relationship with the Buzz family. Listen, scare money doesn't make money. These guys are coming in here, man, and they're not playing no games. And who knows who else is gonna get fired? Other people might go. The Ramby might be next. Okay, they might wait till the offseason for that. But I'm telling you, man, this is how you do it. And yeah, Rob could definitely be out. Die Hard, what's up, brother? Good to see you. I'm telling you guys, man, nobody is off the hook. And again, this is a power move. This is one of those that he was watching and behind the scenes, and he wasn't happy with some of these moves. Okay, maybe he wasn't happy with the draft picks, whatever the case may be. He was not happy, and that's it. Canned, right? And the Buzz family isn't happy about this move. There's nothing they can do. They sold the team. You gotta remember, everybody signed off. The entire Buzz family, I think, with the exception of one. So, or maybe they all signed off. I'm not sure, but they all signed off on this. And so now you see the controlling owner, Mark Walter, saying, you know what, guys, that is it, man. The Lakers have endured turbulent periods since the 2020 championship, all right? Marked by early playoff exit after early playoff exit, all right? We're talking about in 2022 and 2024. And there has been plenty of criticism of the mismanagement under Jeannie Buss, right? We're talking about the team governor. Now, the franchise has faced scrutiny for high-profile missteps, right? Again, including the Russell Westbrook trade that derailed the roster. But again, with Walter's involvement, guys, bringing his successful track record from the Los Angeles Dodgers, the emphasis appears to be on injecting a fresh perspective into the scouting department and analytics, okay, and player evaluations to build contention around aging stars like LeBron, obviously Luka as he gets older, right? So again, I have mixed feelings about this because, again, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, obviously, but we have to look at the missteps. This has to be the only reason why. Again, if you're just tuning in, what's up, Tamika? Joey and Jesse Buss have been fired by our new owner, Mark Walter. He's made this decision. We knew stuff was going to change. Here it is. Here's the change, all right? And nobody imagined these guys would get fired, right? I even forgot they even work for the team because they've been so behind the scenes. But again, these guys have operated largely in supporting roles rather than primary decision makers in their department, right? But again, Jalen Hutchefino in 2023, right? As a head of scouting, Jesse was heavily involved in selecting guard Jalen Hutchefino according to multiple reports with the 17th overall pick, all right? That move was seen as a reach, with the player averaging just 1.6 points per game in limited minutes over 2 seasons before being traded to the Utah Jazz in a salary dump. All right. That has been one of the worst moves he made. All right. Also missed opportunities in the mid-round talents. Right. Failure. There has been gems from 2018 to 2024. We have overlooked players like Emmanuel Quickly, Jalen Williams, et cetera, et cetera. This has definitely fueled the perception that this has been a nepotism-driven department. And I quote, this is just my source telling me this, okay? So we have lacked something there. These guys are proteges to Dr. Jerry Buss, but Dr. Jerry Buss got arrested. So the Buss family no longer is majority stake owner. So Joey Buss, again, ineffective at times with the analytics, right? He's been accused of failing to provide a competitive edge in player projections or trade evaluations. Okay, for instance, data models reported undervalued cap-efficient role players during the 2021 and 2023 rebuilds, right, contributing to bloated contracts like those of Dennis Schroeder and Talen Horton-Tuckers, right? This was highlighted in internal reviews and leaked during the 2024 playoffs, where the department was faulted for outdated metrics. All right. And I quote, I'm reading this from my source. So I'm telling you guys, man, there has been plenty of criticism. And even though it slaps us fans, right? Even though it slaps us fans in the face, it really doesn't. You know what I mean? Like it's something that's, again, yep, Genie didn't have the heart to do it, but somebody else would come in here and say, "Hey, man, I have no emotional ties to these guys. We loved them over the years, guys. They were responsible for drafting some good players. I'm not going to sit here and slander them, but I am happy that Mark Walter is a no-nonsense guy. This sends a message to everybody in the organization. Like, look, man, if y'all been slacking off, if y'all haven't been on your pins and needles every trade deadline, every offseason, you're liable to go. No matter how many good decisions you make. A couple of bad ones will have you canned. Okay. Let's see. AK says Jeannie led too many friends and family in the business that she didn't have the heart to let them go. Glad someone cold-hearted is in the front office now. I wouldn't call him cold-hearted. I'd call him smart. This is a business decision. It has nothing to do, okay? It has nothing to do with emotions, right? When you're running a business, this is why they say do not mix business with pleasure. All right? It makes it very dicey. Right? It makes it very, very dicey. So again, this is the breaking news right now. If you guys are just tuning in, make sure you hit that like button. You heard it here first. Dan Wokey says much scouting staff has also been terminated. They're starting from the ground up, man. And you know, this is one of those things where they're probably going to hire guys that are better qualified, if we're being honest. I'm talking about a track record. No nepotism included. Right? Now, this also lets you guys know, like, Mark Walter was not playing in the offseason when he didn't hand out certain contract extensions or whatever, you know? So, again, we're just hearing that in addition to Joey and Jesse Buss being terminated by the Lakers on Thursday, much of the scouting staff has been let go. So, Mark Walter was really not happy, guys, with the job the scouting department has been doing. I don't know what they were doing in there, man, playing tic-tac-toe or what, but the last couple of years have been very telling. Jalen Hood-Schifino and Dalton were both misses. Again, we could have had Missy. We could have had, I always talk about it, Jaime Jaquez. We could have had players like that. You know, it's unfortunate. Let's see. My good friend Sharon, good to see you, my friend. She said, that's why it's ridiculous to think the very rich ever get pushed around. They do what they want. Exactly. But in this case, it's warranted. If you paid, you know, millions and millions of dollars for a franchise, you're able to do whatever you want. No strings attached. Rob might be next if he doesn't have a good trade deadline. Rob was Jeannie's guy. Remember that. Jeannie's just she's just there to kind of put on a smile and take care of some of the PR stuff. But she never was making basketball decisions. This was her other family members and Rob Pelinka. If for whatever reason we struggle again in this playoff, I think Rob Pelinka would be next. And I don't think it's fair because Rob has made some good decisions. He's in charge of bringing us Anthony Davis here. He's also in charge of bringing Luka. That's two mega stars, and I think both stars are going to be responsible for winning championships. All right, first we already got one with AD. Now we're going to get one. We're going to get multiples, hopefully, with Luka. But let's see. We got some doubt in the chat. My guy JTV says, I know the buses have been making mistakes, but they also got Caruso and Reeves. A little concerning about the new scouts they bring in. They should just bring you in, Dan. I wish, but I'm not qualified. They're going to bring in qualified individuals, JTV. You know, I know I've been a pretty solid scout here on YouTube, but it's the difference between YouTube and the real thing, man. When you're there at the forefront, there's so much more pressure than just being here as a fan and analyzing certain players and breaking it down. But I appreciate your vote of confidence, my guy. That means a lot to me personally. But look, yes, it is nerve-wracking. Change is always nerve-wracking for sure. But I am encouraged because I'm looking. This isn't the first time Mark Walters did this, okay? Back when he took over the Dodgers, I believe it was 2016 or was it 2017? He came in. He let them play for about a year, and then he brought in a completely new regimen. Look how that has worked out, okay? We have won 3 out of the last 6 titles in the MLB. The Dodgers have. My LA Dodgers have. So now you look at the Lakers, and you look at what they're doing. Lakers are successful right now. Right now, the Lakers are – our future's bright. We have a present, which is LeBron James. We have a future, which is Luka and Austin Reeves. And we're looking to move on from the past, which is basically the Buss family. All right. Even Jeannie, I wouldn't be surprised if she steps away eventually. And I love her and I appreciate her for her services. And again, this is not a diss video to the Buss family. They have done a great job for what they could do. It's a new era now. It's a new era where they're going to invest real money into the scouting department, into the analytics department, into the training facilities, they're probably going to even remodel Staples Center entirely. Who knows? They might even buy a new building. This owner is loaded, and he knows what to do with a franchise to help us succeed. He's going to do that. So I have my trust in Mark Walter now. In Mark, we trust. That is going to be the new saying. We're going to start it right now. Wouldn't be surprised if Magic somehow finds his way back to the Lakers. Yes. That would be awesome. That would be really, really awesome. But yeah, there is a new sheriff in town, guys. Analytics isn't everything. You have to have a feel for this stuff as well. I hope we don't lean too much on analytics. Well, they're leaning on everything, man. The scouting has nothing to do with analytics. Sometimes it's a sheer eye for talent. And to be honest, drafting Jalen Hood-Schifino over Jaime Jaquez, over Cam Whitmore, over certain players, and then drafting Dalton Connect over Yves Messi from the Pelicans and some other players that were there is a fireable offense. The difference is we've had success since those drafts, and so we overlook a lot of those things. But if it was, think about it this way. If we were a lesser franchise that really depended on these draft picks, and that's the result we were getting, they would have been fired, if we're being honest. The difference is that the Lakers usually don't depend on our draft picks. They end up being either really good role players, or we get lucky and we get undrafted players like Austin Reeves. So yeah, I do believe Rob could be in danger for sure. But yeah, much love to the Buss family. Again, I want to definitely appreciate Joey and Jesse Buss, man. They were the proteges for Dr. Jerry Buss. Unfortunately, after selling the team, everybody is out. Everybody is out for grabs right now, right? So, and again, they're not happy about this. Joey and Jesse didn't think they were going to wake up to being fired today, right? And with the statement I read earlier, they're definitely not happy. But understandable, man. Nobody's happy to get fired from a dream job. That's a dream job. So you got to feel for them for sure. But they're rich. They're loaded. I'm not going to shed any tears for them, right? If I think there's people that are in worse situations like Nico Harrison, who's never going to get hired again by anything. These guys, they have a track record. Maybe somebody hires them, just like Mitch Kupchak got hired by the Charlotte Hornets. Maybe somebody hires them and they go elsewhere, right? But I'm really not mad at this move at all. I think this was a power move. Okay, I think this was one of those checkmate moves. Like, listen, I haven't been happy with the way this franchise has been operating as a family business. All right, we don't mix business with pleasure. It has to be done. It has to be done, right? And at some point, I never imagined this would be, again, because these guys are so much in the background, you forget to even work for the Lakers unless we make a draft pick or something, right? But again, I'm happy with their overall production. I won't say I'm satisfied. They could have always done better. We could have always did better for sure, but I'm happy overall with what they did. And remember, there's other drafts too in the past where we missed, right? We drafted certain players like, I think, was it D'Lo over Donovan Mitchell and Devin Booker? There's been other misses too. So maybe they're taking everything, the whole body of work into account. And they're saying you missed here, 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 and here, and here. And those were unmissable, right? So, there's been some missteps along the way for sure. Some of those were Magic Johnson, like drafting Lonzo was all Magic, right? So can't really blame the Buss, Joey and Jesse Buss. But again, whatever the reason was, and I'm sure we'll probably hear it when we hire a new scouting and, front office guys. Pretty sure we'll figure it out. Much love to the Buss family for sure. Cheers to the new beginnings. That's exactly what it is, man. JHS was Rob vetoing. And that's what I'm saying, D-Free. He might be next. They might wait till the offseason, and Rob might be let go next. Rob was Jeannie's guy. Jeannie's no longer in power. She's still attached to the Lakers because she's so lovable and everybody loves Jeannie. And so I'm sure Mark has a great relationship with her, and she'll be attached to the Lakers until she wants to step away. So I'm happy about that. But the other ones, they had a more crucial role in basketball, and there's been some missteps along the way, whether it's Rob or whether it was them. There's been some. And there's been many years of missteps. But I can't fully blame them because everybody has missteps. And that's the truth, right? But this is the Lakers. And everything, unfortunately, is more microscoped and looked at under the Lakers' watch, for sure. We should have just kept Mark Williams trade. Mark Williams plus dominating. Mark Williams just has horrible injury history. So I understand why they stepped away from that trade, right? They're not happy because they didn't want to sell, because the way the trust is set up, they would ultimately inherit the entire team. It wouldn't go down to any nieces or nephews, etc. Yeah, man, you got to feel for them. If they really voted no on the sale and they just got overpowered, they got outvoted, you got to feel for them for sure. They were the proteges, and I'm sure they're sad and devastated. But I always say this, man, yeah, especially in this economy, I can never feel sorry for rich people. I know money isn't everything, but I just can't do it because they don't feel sorry for us, man. They don't even know we exist, if we're being honest. They might know I exist. They might have seen a video or two, but they don't feel sorry for us. Why do we feel sorry for them? You know what I mean? Like, they're going to continue being rich and happy and prosperous, and we're going to continue rooting for the Lakers, and we wish them the best, and hopefully they wish us the best. And that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, you know? We get fired from our daily jobs too if we mess up, right? It happens. He said, Nico, but to go teach high school basketball now? I can't say I feel sorry for him either. He traded Luka, but damn, bro. But really, I'm sure they knew. Yeah, man. Once that was sold, they had to see the end coming for sure. They're no longer protected by that family cloak. That's gone. You know, so you hate to see that for them personally, but business, man, is business. Izzy says, were they really responsible for AR or just got lucky? Look, man, they're responsible because they get involved in one way or another. So you got to give them credit. Again, shout out to Joey and Jesse Buss. It wasn't all bad. It was, for me, I think it was 60% good, maybe like 40% bad. 60% outweighs the bad, right? So I was happy overall, but I wasn't satisfied. I know we can always improve. I really thought it was obvious that we should have took Jaime Jaquez. They were talking about they were looking for an NBA ready player, and they ended up with the most un-NBA ready player. So it didn't make sense to me. Whether that was Rob Pelinka or them, doesn't matter. They all get held accountable. They're all part of the department, right? And then, again, Dalton Connect was painted on a portrait like the second coming, and he hasn't panned out. So that's back-to-back years of bad picks. And then this year, it looks like we might have hit something with D'Lo, but it's too early to tell right now. So not to mention, we've had guys like Coloco on two-way contracts, and they're not really developing. These guys are responsible for all of that, right? A lot of the two-way G League contracts haven't been there. Matter of fact, RJ Davis shouldn't have been sent down to the G League. He should have kept his two-way contract. Instead, we let Coloco have it, right? So we got to be more on it. And so, yeah, give them credit for the good things they did. And also, there was some missteps. Rob, too. Rob might be the next one on the chopping block. They might wait till the offseason. Who knows? I don't know how Mark Walter is coming in, but one thing I can tell you for sure, based off of this, he's coming in hot. Think about this: 11-4, and we firing people, y'all. 11-4 usually would have most owners happy and jumping for joy and not even thinking about firing. Mark Walter is looking at the gaps, like we can plug it in here, we can plug in here, and we're good to go. You know, I got to give credit to a guy like that. That means he really cares about this franchise and he wants us to move forward and do the right thing. So shout out to Mark. I'm already excited for his reign. He's already coming in hot. Man, I can't wait. Can y'all imagine what he's going to do in the trade deadline? I don't think he's going to allow Rob to be as patient as he usually is. He might make him jump and take leaps and bounds. Who knows? Unless they're happy with the overall result of the current roster. But I think there's some holes to plug in there. And I think Mark Walter is very knowledgeable. Ayton is not coming if we have MW. Also, MW is killing it too, but I'm happy. Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. Mark Walter wants to win, and that's all that matters. He's doing it with the Dodgers. Going to try to do it with the Lakers. AR's agent pitched him mostly. Yeah, it was AR's agent. And also, credit to the Lakers organization that they've become such a hotbed for two-way contracts and undrafted players and just talented pieces. Guys have even they have skipped workouts to go undrafted and get picked up by the Lakers on two-way contracts. I believe AR wanted to come here. Facts. But again, I'm not going to discredit, again, Joey and Jesse. They did some great things here. This isn't I'm not trying to put them down. I'm happy that we're making moves and we're trying to head in a positive direction. Right? Will? I think this is a good thing. I think this really shows that we are not playing. We're cleaning house right now. We're doing the right thing. Hey, happy birthday, man. Everybody, show love to my guy right here. Happy birthday, brother. Good to see you, man. We getting Laker news on your birthday, bro. It's a good sign. Maybe I'll get hired. I mean, you never know. The universe has been kind to me, and I've been granted some awesome opportunities, like getting to work with NBA players and getting to sideline report from amazing up-and-coming companies and I've been blessed, but it's all thanks to God, my family, and you guys. So again, thank you guys for that, man. Keep speaking it into existence for sure. Let's see. Clean house. Yeah, we cleaned a house today. We cleaned a house. Let's see. I was saying they knew this was coming. That's why JJ and Rob got extended. Man, let me tell you something. Even if they're extended, this man is rich. All right. He'll pay whatever. If these guys don't do their job properly, you better believe they're going to get fired. Because again, I didn't expect to hear this news about Joey and Jesse being fired. I thought they've done a pretty decent job. All right. Let's think about who they drafted over the years. Julius Randle, okay? Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, Zubats, Jordan Clarkson. Mo Wagner was a misstep. I thought we should have had Mitchell Robinson there. There's been missteps, of course. Max Christie, right? But there's been some really, really good picks, especially later in the rounds. And it just shows that, okay, even that won't save you. Even your track record of overall talent, a lot of these guys are still in the league and doing work. But again, Mark has a bigger picture for us. We've also had missteps. We've had, like Chapito said, Ryan Kelly, guys like that haven't panned out as well. But we've had some amazing picks. Larry Nance, Thomas Bryant. We've had some great ones. We can go down the list. So again, I want to celebrate those guys, but at the same time, celebrate the movement, if that makes sense. Like, I'm happy those guys had a wonderful career with the Lakers. Nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. They didn't take my guy Jaime, who would have tore it up here in LA, would have been more NBA ready. But I forgive them. I forgive them because they've had a lot more good stuff than bad stuff, in my opinion. I think 60% good, maybe more, 65 or 70% good, 30, 35% bad. That's why I say you have to draft good all the way, first round and second round. Well, it's impossible to always draft good, but, there's some glaring picks. Like, I thought, who was with me when Jaime Hawkins was on the board? I thought that was the pick for sure. UCLA product right in our backyard, and they turned around Jalen Hood-Schifino. I said, who? But I was excited because we had gotten some steals up until that point. I thought Jalen Hood-Schifino maybe would have been next in line. Unfortunately, he was not, and so on and so forth. But again, over the years, there's been some glaring missteps, and there's been, like, we could have had Donovan Mitchell at one point. We didn't. Who did we draft? It was either D'Angelo Russell. We also could have had Jason Tatum, which I'm not mad we didn't draft him. I always thought he was overrated. I like Jaylen Brown better. But we could have had Jason Tatum instead of Brandon Ingram. Like, there's been some missteps. I can't fully blame Joey and Jesse Buss for that. They only play a certain role in the background, right? As consultants. Mark wants us to win and not be comfortable where they are. Mark had a vision. This is why he bought the team. Listen, you don't spend, and I said it the moment he bought the team, there's going to be tons of changes, guys. You don't spend that type of money just to let the team do the same thing it's doing. He has a vision for this team, and he wants to elevate it back to the royalty where we have been. Listen, we've won one championship in the last 15 years, okay? Because before 2020, we hadn't won since 2010. So from 2010 all the way to 2025, we only have one title. We're under the golden standard of the Lakers. And I know that sounds spoiled because we win so many championships, but it's the truth. If you're a lifelong Laker fan like me, diehard, like all of you guys in the chat, you know that the golden standard is not one championship every 15 years. We got to win like 3 or 4 in between in that time span, minimum, right? And so we've been under the golden standard under Jeannie Buss. I still can't call it a failure, though, because she won a championship as soon as she took over at the helm. But it's still under the golden standard that Dr. Buss had created. Hey, appreciate you, bro. He said, Hope, he has the replacement scouts working now. You don't make this move unless you have people in mind. Plenty of talented people out there that we're going to get the breaking news, and I will report it to you guys when we get the news of them hiring certain names. We're going to hear about it. Mo is great. Also, there's missteps in several of those drafts, like Lonzo and Brandon's. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It happens. It happens to the best of franchises, but this is the golden standard. Golden standard is, they're going to do what they got to do. All of those guys y'all mentioned didn't play that well with us, playing well on other teams, though. It doesn't matter. Everybody has a different development rate. Maybe they weren't good under the limelight. They were still good draft picks because if we would have held on to them here, which we never do, we're very impatient. We want to win now. Those players develop. So they ended up being good overall picks. The Julius Randles of the world ended up being good picks. So again, this is not a shitting contest. We're not going to sit here and shit on Joey and Jesse. I thought they were good overall. I didn't think they were great. Again, last couple of years, Jalen Hashafino, Dalton Connect have been missteps. And missteps where we could have had real rotation pieces instead of those missteps. But, again, if you date back all the way back, I mentioned some names already that were really good from them. They were pretty solid, man. Y'all remember Anthony Brown in the second-round pick? Don't worry, I don't either. Again, and every franchise is going to have those, for sure. They're going to have those. He said, my man Dan does not like the Kobe acolytes that the media hypes up. No comment, D-Free. Come on, man. He said, Mark Walter is trying to become the first owner to win the World Series and NBA chip in the same season. Mark Walter isn't fucking playing. That's what he's not doing. He's not playing. We're winning, guys. We're winning. We're 11-4, and he's out here firing motherfuckers. If you don't love that energy, I don't know what to tell you. This is big boss energy right here. I'm sitting back, smoking my Cuban cigar. Nothing less than championships will be expected here because it's the Lakers. This Mark Walter is somebody who was in the minority state group and has been with the Lakers and probably hasn't been liking the way things have been run for years. He probably had an input on some of these draft picks and some of these players we were trying to acquire and some of these players we let go, like Alex Caruso. He probably had an input, and they probably did the opposite of what he wanted. So now he's like, okay, I'm empowered now. Joey, Jesse, remember that time I told you to draft this player? No, you didn't listen to the minority state group? Deuces. Now I'm the big boss. Now I'm writing the checks, and yours has just been voided. Again, I'm not necessarily excited that they got to let go, but I am excited of the fact that he's doing this now, and he's proving that he's going to be an absolute beast, just like he did with the Dodgers. He's coming in, no nonsense, no family, no funky business. Linda Rambis, Kurt Rambis, any Rambis, fucking Rambo Rambis. You better watch your fucking back because your ass has been expired for a couple years, and you're still in the fridge, all right? You're like spoiled milk. All right. And he's coming in, man. He's coming in, and I can't hate on it. I'm actually excited by the fact that this guy has a vision and he's executed in spite of us winning. That means he's not settling for anything less than greatness. That means he's got a golden standard. And to him, we're here now. We got to get up here. We got to get up to par. Mark Walters. I already read that one. My guy said, I understand the history. However, I think expectations need to be adjusted because it's just so difficult to have that type of sustained success in the NBA with the way the rules and the CBA are now. No, D-Free. We are not going to adjust our expectations. Laker Nation always expects multiple championships. From 2010 to now, 15 years, guys, and counting, we only have one championship. That is not it for the Lakers. We know this. And Mark Walter knows this as well. He's been around for a long time. He knows that Los Angeles demands 2 to 3 minimum every 15 years, not one. So we have highly undershot where we should be. And that is, as unfair as it is, D-Free, we're not going to adjust our expectations. Long-time Laker fans know what I'm talking about. We're not adjusting our expectations because the moment you start settling is the moment, you know what I'm saying, that you let up, man. You're no longer the golden standard. We cannot let Golden State win more than us in the last 10, 15 years. That's how you get fired, man. The organization like ours that doesn't build from the ground up. We have advantages that other organizations don't have. We have the market. We have the city. We have the history. And believe it or not, we can still use it. In spite of other markets growing and the CBA changing, we can still use that to our advantage. And I think Mark is here to prove a point, man. He's not going to settle. That's what he's doing. Now, let's see who he hires now, though. Let's see who Mark Walter hires. What up, sis? Good to see you. She said, why the fuck? Why? Well, there's been some missteps along the way the last couple of years. If I had to point to anything, that's probably it. And again, there's been many criticisms. My own source telling me that over the years, we've been operating this thing like a mom and pop shop, and that's not the way that they want to go, It is crazy, though. I'll tell you that. I never expected it, and it's bittersweet because I am happy that Mark is doing his thing, but I'm also sad to see the Buzz family slowly but surely start to get removed, And Jeannie's the last one standing. And I hope she's there forever as the somebody that deals with PR and the media, because Jeannie's just a wonderful person. We love her. But at the same time, I don't know, man. Nothing is guaranteed. New ownership, things are going to change. We got to get with the program. This is what we got. This is what we have to expect from here on out. Changes. Right. So Mark Walter may be doing things we don't favor right now, but it may be the best. I favor it because I saw what he did with the Dodgers, and I see that he can do the same thing here. Yeah. My guy said, in the words of Kobe Bean Bryant, you got to have the big cojones and job not finished. Yeah, and again, God bless her soul, Jeannie Buss. But, she didn't have the heart to keep firing her family members. Credit to her, though. She did this with Jim Buss, or as I used to like to call him, Jim Dumbass. That was one of the worst owners of all, not owners, I'm sorry, one of the first worst GM / front office people that I've ever seen. Some of these decisions he was making was horrible, man. So he kept missing the playoffs. And she had the goal to fire this guy. So credit to her. She'll always be beloved for that. And we won a championship because of it. But to expect her to keep doing that, moving forward, like, can't expect that, man. Can't expect that. Shout out to the Buss family. It's been real. Gotta love them, man. We're not gonna slander the Buss family here, man. It's always gonna be love. We won multiple titles under them, and they held the golden standard for a long time. Unfortunately, with the late great Dr. Buss passed, some of the children didn't know how to react. Jim Buss didn't know how to run the team, stuff like that. Let's see. My guy D3 said, "I don't hate any team that knows who I am." Oh yeah, no. D3 definitely an NBA fan overall, man. For sure, an NBA fan. Chapito, stop trolling, Chapo. That's my boy Chapo, but he trolls. Freaking Chapito. Nah, man, listen. I understand where D3 is coming from. He's coming from a technical standpoint. Like, we got to adjust our expectations. One thing, as a lifelong Laker fan, Lakers will always expect greatness. Even if it's unreasonable sometimes. We expect it. And I do think Mark is a lifelong Laker fan. I think he's been here for long enough as a minority stake owner that he knows. He's seen the glory days. He's seen, the from the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s and to where we're at now, and how we have fallen from grace a bit, even though we still landing the stars and we still competing for titles consistently. The golden standard, we haven't lived up to that, right? So I think he's coming in hot and he's making things happen, and he's gonna get things right, back on track for sure, right? Who do you think has the best scouting department in the league? I think this is very easy, bro. I think it's the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, just look at their track record. They're not even a landing destination in free agency yet. Somehow they're still always in the playoffs. They're always drafting well. They're always trading well. How they landed both Jalen Williams and Shea. It's got to be the Thunder, man. Sam Presti is an absolute fucking beast. So I give it to him. He's the best, and that's why they won a championship last year, and that's why they're going to be up there for years. But the Lakers have potential, man. Mark's going to spend the money. Okay, because when you fire these people, you got to pay new people. You still got to pay the rest of these people, right? So, again, to me, I think Mark knows exactly what he's doing, and I think he has a bigger vision for us, than just competing for titles. He wants to win these things, man. In order to win them, you got to be the standard has to be set gold from the ground all the way up. So I don't oppose to this. Again, the issues that we were going with wasn't solely the fault of Joey and Jesse Buss, right? But they did have an influence, and the firing to me signals a pivot towards external expertise. Like, they want some experts out here, right? We'll see. I'm telling you guys, man, I think things are looking up moving forward for sure. I think so. But again, we're for sure gonna scrutinize every move that Mark Walter does from here on out, because if you're gonna fire guys that were good, you better get guys that are great. Dan, do you think Clutch may have had his hand in this? I don't want to get into conspiracies, but maybe Lakers draft more Clutch agents. The opposite, man. I think the Lakers are completely moving away from Clutch. They proved it in the offseason. Look, one thing that I've noticed is that Clutch wanted things done a certain way, maybe more trades, whatever it was. But we know what LeBron's agent, we know what Rich Paul said. And since then, he's been really quiet, because since then, LeBron came back to the Lakers over 6 games over 500. Think about that. On a relatively semi-tough schedule in the beginning with all the injuries. 6 games over 500. So to me, that signals that, hey, we know what we're doing now. Mark Walters, the new owner, he's in charge, and we're not going to allow anybody to coerce us or to basically make us pull the strings, right? I'm the boss now. I was a new sheriff in town. So yeah, I think it's the opposite of that, Keys. The Lakers didn't draft poorly. when they didn't listen to the bus boys. That could be the case, and unfortunately, that happens sometimes. Sometimes guys get fired, and they take the fall when they shouldn't have been. But the truth of the matter is, this was a family-owned business. Family-owned businesses do well until there's some sort of skirmish from within, right? And this is why they say you don't miss business with pleasure. And again, much love to the Bus family. I think they did an exceptional job for what they could have done. But I think they're going to get more qualified, high qualified individuals, right? Dan, look at the draft bust. That tells you all you need to know about the scouts. Yes, and I already mentioned some of those guys for sure. Man. And I'll tell you, bro. I'll tell you, they weren't good, obviously. But we can't just look at the bad and not look at the good. There's been a lot more good over the years than there's been bad. I say, like I said, around 60+% good and the rest bad. Could you improve on that? Absolutely. We can go to like 80% good and 20% bad. Remember, nobody's perfect. Everybody in the history of the NBA has had missteps in the front office. Everybody. It happens, guys. Matter of fact, the Thunder, I just mentioned them, and them being the best in front office, they had a misstep. When they traded James Harden away, that was a huge misstep, and then it ended up costing them maybe even multiple championships. Who knows, right? They traded Harden. They ended up with what they end up with? Kevin Martin? I forgot who they traded in that package. That was a bad trade for them. They trade Harden, they lose KD, and they end up trading away Westbrook, right? So the big three that was supposed to win titles in their prime, it didn't happen because they didn't want to pay Harden. That was a huge misstep. So even the best franchises, the best at their job, make missteps. Right? DP says, I'm from LA, so I lived it. I've been a part of it, and I've been to some parades and all that stuff back when I was a kid. I get it. I just think the CBA is so bad, man. I agree with that. The CBA is bad. It's bad. We're not going to use that as a scapegoat, though. We still have to figure it out. And this is why they're hiring who they believe is better equipped people. Right? Time will tell if they're better or worse. Time will tell. This, for all we know, this could be a huge misstep by Mark Walter, right? And it could be just a power struggle move and one of those checkmate moves. But I doubt it. I think we're in good hands. He said the funny thing about OKC is that they've missed on so many draft picks, but they've had so many bites at the apple that nobody knows. If you look at their history, it's not as clear as you think. Well, here's the thing. It's not just about the draft picks because everybody misses, like I already mentioned. It's about the trades, man. They've made some generational trades. For example, guys that were at the end of their straw, they traded away and got value in return for it. Guys like Serge Ibaka. They end up trading away and got value in return. So they never really allowed guys to, with the exception of Kevin Durant, who walked for nothing. But for the most part, they got high-value guys and draft picks in return, and they've been able to cash in on most of these draft picks. For sure, man. I think it's been tremendous. Let's see. Tony, he said, we need Dan and Trevor in charge of the scouting. Then we'd get our 3-and-D wing and a better backup center and a backup point guard. Oh, man, I'm honored you say that, Tony. But I'm sure they're going to hire, better qualified people than me for sure in the scouting, man. Guys that have experience. Because for me, not saying it would happen, but if I ever got hired, it would be a learning experience. There's a big learning curve you got to go through, right? So it's not realistic. Realistically, though, I'm sure they have guys in mind. You don't make a move like this unless you already have the plan in motion. You're not going to have those positions vacant, right? We're ready for next year's draft. We're ready for the offseason. Guys we just brought over Kobe Buffkin, who, by the way, had a 28-point game the other night, right? These have to be Mark Walter moves because obviously you just fired the guys that were in charge of all that. So, again, credit to Mark. He's coming in hot. He's doing what he's got to do in spite of us being 11-4. That's got to be a good sign. That means he's a no-nonsense guy. He's not going to – guys, gone are the days when we sit here and be mediocre for 2 to 3 years and waste them like we're the Clippers. We're not the fucking Clippers. We're the Lakers. And that's the golden standard. You can't have 2 to 3 years off. You can have maximum one bad year. You got to bounce back the next year. That's always been the golden standard, and it'll continue to be that, no matter what the CBA or anything, right? Mark Walter. Okay, for those of you just tuning in, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, hit the post noti bell, all that good stuff. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Whether we agree or disagree, I love you guys. But for those of you just tuning in, Joey, Jesse, Buss have been terminated by Mark Walter, right? And this in the gap between the last game we just won, which was a couple of nights ago, and the next game we play on Sunday. In spite of being 11-4, Mark Walters saying, nope, too many missteps along the way, too many moves I didn't like. Let's go get somebody who's more qualified. Making it happen. So, yeah, for those of you just tuning in, double tap that like. Appreciate you guys. Not double tap, sorry. Tap it one time. Let's see, D3 said, moving away from clutch is not about LeBron so much as it is about getting off of the Anthony Davis because they would have been largely listening to them for another handful of years. It's about all of it. It's about no longer listening to LeBron, no longer listening to Rich Paul, Anthony Davis, and all the clutch clients. Because let's be honest, man, clutch did a lot of solids, man. They were, responsible for bringing KCP here. It wasn't all bad with clutch. However, at the end of the day, when you're a tycoon like the Lakers, you don't allow a player or an organization to run your franchise. And as soon as they try to sink their claws in there, that's when they cut ties and they say, nope. And that's what happened with Mark. I think, and I mentioned it several times, like, no wonder there was no contract extension in the summer. No wonder Rich Paul put out that statement. No wonder. There's a lot of uncertainty between Rich Paul and the Lakers. There just is. And that's okay because the Lakers have done many solids for Rich Paul and Clutch and vice versa. Clutch has done solid. So we've had a good relationship up until now. Things change when new ownership comes in. If you ever been working a job, if that company sells, everything changes. Guys get fired, new hours, new shifts, new everything. Right? So, yeah, like everything changes. And this is all a part of the change. Now, it's either going to change for the greater good or for worse. But I think just all you got to do is look at Mark Walters' track record if you get nervous. That's all you got to do. The breaking news is Joey and Jesse been fired, guys, for those of you guys asking. Joey and Jesse Buss have been let go. They've been terminated. They're no longer with the Lakers organization. They're not happy about it. They put out a statement. I read it earlier. They're not happy about it. But, again, it was probably to be expected. Let's see. AK says, I definitely agree with you, Dan. I think Mark was a minority owner. The Buss family passed on his and other minority owners' opinions. So this is a power move he's been planning. I see it, man. There's no better way to do it than when you're winning. Because, look, I'll be honest with you. When you're winning and you make a move, it looks like a power move. When you're losing and you make a move, it looks like a desperation move. Am I right? So this is why I think they make this move now, and it makes complete and total sense. We receive a move. We receive a move good either way, whether you're winning or losing. But this looks like a king me checkmate move rather than, we had to make it because we're struggling move, right? We're 11-4 right now. All the talk about the Lakers has been positive. What better way than to make a move than right now, right? You throw a little bit of negative, you sprinkle a little bit of negativity by way of firing, and it ends up looking positive because we're on an upward trend, right? We're on an upward trend right now, guys. They chose Serge over Harden. That's what I'm saying. There have been bad moves, but like I said, every front office makes bad moves. Nobody's perfect, which is why I'm trying to buy Joey and Jesse Buss some grace. I thought they were good in certain places. Like they were good at finding late gems in the draft. Second-round picks like Jordan Clarkson. Late first-round picks like Larry Nance Jr. They also missed. They missed. I knew that year. You guys were live with me. I knew that year Mitchell Robinson should have been the pick. I was excited for him. We needed a big at the time, too. We ended up with Mo Wagner. We've missed on several picks again. Nobody's perfect, but when you're going to fire somebody, you look more at the negatives than you look at the positives. D3 says, I'm hearing that Jesse and Joey said they were supposed to run the basketball operations, but Jeannie forced them out of that role so she could stay in charge, and they knew it was coming. A lot of infighting. And again, the way you get rid of siblings fighting is you can them, bro. It's like if siblings are fighting in your household, you send them each to the room, right? So that's what happened, man. They got canned. No more sibling fighting. No more. Man, there was a time when the media perception of the Lakers front office was so bad. They were saying, oh, my goodness, they were saying no free agent wants to come here because the siblings aren't on the same page. And that was actually true. And at the time, I didn't want to accept it. I was like, ESPN's just throwing dirt on our name or whatever. But it was true. There was turmoil. We found out later when Jeannie fired Jim, right? So we can't have that in an organization. You can't have a power struggle. It was like, you guys ever seen the show Succession? It was like that. You can't have that, bro. You can't have a power struggle and then try to build something special. You just can't have it. And I'm not saying that was available now with Joey and Jesse and Jeannie, but just in case. I'm looking at the Ramby next, man. They should not be anywhere near the Lakers. They have not had a good track record in their careers. ever. All right. I'm talking about Kurt Rambis and Linda Rambis. Get them mother suckers out of here. All right. Next. So that's what I would do if I'm Mark Walter. And maybe these were all people that were fired. Maybe we're gonna get more details as we go. But yeah, it's been quite interesting afternoon for sure. And yeah. So what Jesse's saying, the Dr. Bus idea was for Joey and I to run basketball operations one day, but Jeannie has effectively kept herself in place with her siblings fired. Look, man, let's be honest. Let's be honest. If you look at all the documentaries, if you look at all the history, Jeannie Buss was better equipped, all right, to run the Lakers than all these guys were. She was. And so she did what she had to do. Kobe gave her the advice to be like the mother of dragons. Everybody knows what Khaleesi did if you watch Game of Thrones. If you didn't, I'm not going to spoil it, okay, because it's a great show. But if you know, you know. She had to execute, and she did that. So all this crying about, oh, we should have, we could have. Sorry, guys. That's life isn't fair sometimes. I'm sorry. You know? Lakers are moving away from Clutch, but are moving closer to Bill Duffy's agency. They've got a few clients. That's just how the NBA does business. Yeah, but Bill Duffy's agency operates probably a lot different than the way Clutch operates. Clutch is more hands-on. Clutch wants a lot more perks. Bill Duffy's agency is going to do things, I guess you could say, the old-fashioned way, which is just get clients to try to go to your team, and that's it. You know, but we won't be doing any favors like drafting people's sons for Bill Duffy's agency. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why we're moving away from one to the other. For me, it's in our best interest at heart to be cool with every agency because the Lakers should just be a landing destination, right? But let's see what Mark Walter has in store for us, okay? Because this is barely the beginning. Mind you, he just took over the team, right? Early this month, I believe, right? Or late last month, actually. He just took over the team and he's already making big moves. So I can't wait to see what the trade deadline has in store, the offseason has in store, and everything moving forward. AK says Mark Walter got one daughter and she's never been involved with the Dodgers in any way. There's no info if he has any siblings, so hopefully no more infighting with family members. Don't mix business with pleasure. And we're going to leave it on that note, guys. My final take on this is I believe it's going to end up being a good move, maybe even potentially a great move. We're going to have to reserve judgment till after he hires those people from that department and after they make moves years in. This is not going to be something where we're going to know right away if it was a good move, unless we go get like Bob Myers to play a role or something, but we're not going to know right away. It's going to take years. One thing we do know, though, is that Mark Walter isn't playing, damn it. He's coming in hot. He's making moves, and he's kicking ass and taking names. And he fired a bunch of people this morning, and who knows? Who knows who else is next? But change is here. It's not on the horizon. It is here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm for it. This is the Mark Walter era. It has begun, okay? And hopefully it's a championship-filled era, okay? We can only hope for now, but I'm excited. I'll keep you guys posted if anything happens. If we hire anything of worth, you know, I will go live again. If it's just minor names being hired, then I will post it in the community section. So keep it locked right here, guys, for all things Lakers, NBA, and so much more. Appreciate you guys all for chiming in. Love you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one, all right? Enjoy your evening.